coming to you from Transition Area at the Rev 3 Quasi in beautiful Middlebury, Connecticut. It's the GTN Show.
Hi, I'm Tyler Butterfield from Bermuda. You're watching the GTN Show.
This is the GTN Show, and after a women-only show last week, I'm afraid to say we're back to a male-only show this week, but I am pleased to be joined again by Sam Pictor.
Thanks for having me, Mark. And whilst we might not be as good looking, we certainly do have a good amount of things to bring you on the show this week.
Yeah, we've got a couple of tricky topics to tackle today, Sam. We're going to be talking about alcohol and triathlon. Is it really that bad? And does a little nighttime romance really affect our performance the next day?
I think we're going to have to watch our words on that one.
No.
We've also got a new record for cycling the length of Britain, running shoes that slow you down, and some great results from the weekend.
No, mate, you are a really good triathlete.
You are my favourite triathlete.
No, but that time you won Outlaw.
No, but seriously, course records. You.
Right, it's not exactly big news for many of us out there, but heavy drinking is quite common after events, both for competitors and fans. So what effect is it really having on us?
Yeah, so we know that heavy alcohol consumption does slow down muscle recovery, it reduces the adaptations that you get from training, and it slows protein synthesis. But we do see the odd professional having a glass of wine or a beer before racing.
Well, actually, this weekend we saw on social media Susie Cheetham, pro triathlete, who came second at Ironman 70.3 Luxembourg. She actually posted a picture of herself having a small glass of wine before the race. Not bad for her, hey?
So it can't be all that bad if professionals are doing it and getting good results.
But back to our original question, is alcohol really that bad for us? And I mean, you've already pointed out a few really valid points, but also alcohol is a really big diuretic, so it actually leaves us really dehydrated after a big night of drinking. It also reduces our heat tolerance and our mental function.
And recently, as we were looking at this, we saw a recent study that shows that alcohol does reduce your ability for endurance across a variety of distances.
But, okay, we've seen these pros having a drink the night before the race, and I'm going to put my hand up. I enjoy a small drink the night before the race. I feel like it calms me, and I sleep well after it. I'm not going out and having copious amounts of alcohol, but a small amount, that's got to be okay, right?
And it works for you. I find that I don't drink regularly in the week, so if I had maybe a small beer, I'd be okay. But certainly if I had a pint of beer the night before, it goes straight to my head.
Yeah, I mean, 1 pint of beer, it's not exactly got massive amount of alcohol in. So, okay, maybe it's not a hydrating drink, but I don't think it's really going to be doing too much, bad stuff to us. And I think that's what this research is also pointing out. Yes, a small amount. It's not a performance enhancer in any way, so we're not advising you drink alcohol before a race, but it is saying that a small amount, yeah, it's not too bad in moderation.
Yeah, it's the key, isn't it? To have alcohol in moderation. It's not going to make you go faster necessarily, but if it helps you relax, can't be a bad thing.
Okay, well, I think we should send this to a poll and ask you guys, do you allow yourself to have a drink before a race? Yes or no? You can enter that by clicking on the poll just above my head. And also do let us know your thoughts in the comments section below. But now for last week's poll, pull these out here. We had, do you race in other sports?
Now, 85% of you, a massive 85% of you said yes.
Yeah, so that left just 15% saying no. And we had a few suggestions coming in. I started trying cycling and road races and criteriums. They're really tough.
Obstacle course racing.
That's quite an interesting one.
Bit of diversity.
Yeah, a bit of strength there. Someone said their coach suggested 5K races and also road time trials, so they're working on their speed and sort of like absolute max power.
But they have also said they're super lucky because they live in California where there's races all year round.
Yeah, that's pretty lucky. And then another one here from J7A26 said, does competitive eating when there is no one else in the race count?
No.
I don't know, I quite like that one. Right, we've spoken a lot about Super League Triathlon on this channel, and they have just announced details of their event in Poland at the end of this month. It's taking place between the 29th of June through to the 1st of July. And it's actually going to be the first of 2 qualifier events for their Super League Triathlon Championship event. Now, this is actually going to be the culmination of a 3-day triathlon festival event. So they're going to have mass participation events, they're going to have relay events, kids duathlons, women's run races, loads.
It's going to be good. Now, the qualifier is for 10 golden ticket spots that will take them to the World Championship Series, where there'll be 50 male and female triathletes battling it out for the most versatile and dynamic triathlete. Now, on day one, you've got the triple mix, which is a 400-metre swim, a 6-kilometre bike, and a 2.4-kilometre run. So it's going to be short and sharp. The athletes go off on the first one, and they do a classic swim, bike, run format. The second one, after a 10-minute break, is the reverse. So it's a run, bike, swim. And on the third one, it's a bike, swim, run to finish it off.
And as if that didn't sound hard enough as it is, they then go on to the eliminator race the following day. So it's the same distances for the swim, bike and run. And actually, in a standard swim, bike, run format, they do 3 stages, 10-minute breaks between each, and they knock athletes out from each round. So from the first to the second stage, it goes down to 15 athletes, and then to the final stage, just 10 athletes battle it out. And actually, the top 5 men and top 5 female bag those golden tickets.
It's going to be fast and furious racing.
Well, as we've mentioned already, there's loads more events going on in the same weekend at the Super League Triathlon. And one of those is a big push to inspire women in the sport. And this is through a project entitled Women Are Worth Their Weight in Gold.
That's right. So it offers women a platform via social media to get knowledge and understanding about training and racing. But it also gives them inspiration and motivation from some of the best female triathletes in the world. Yeah,
so when it comes around to race day at the Super League Triathlon, they have what's called the Golden Wave. And they've described this distance as a quarter Ironman. But the beauty of it is that you can do as much or as little as you like. So if you want to complete the whole thing, brilliant, well done. But if you just want to do the run, it's also great.
Yeah, I think the emphasis is very much on taking that first step.
Right, the next topic is a tricky one. And we're going to try not to be too immature and giggle our way through this one.
Oh. That was good. It was your face.
Now, for centuries, athletes have, well, avoided a little roll in the hay pre-competition because it's considered to be a hindrance to our performance. And actually, famously, one of our sporting greats, Muhammad Ali, would abstain from sex for weeks prior to a competition.
Yeah, well, you'll be pleased to know, Mark, that recent research published in the Journal of Sexual Medicine, a bit bedtime reading for you, shows that it dispels the notion that sex may be bad for competition.
Yeah, so this was all in a study performed at the California State University, where researchers got 12 men to do a series of tests on their leg muscle strength after 2 occasions. So once, having had sex in the previous 12 hours, and then another when they hadn't in the previous 12 hours.
They then measured their peak and average performance.
We're talking their leg strength.
Leg strength. And they found no difference between the sex and no sex trials.
Well, you will also be pleased to hear that this is all done through self-report rather than direct observation. So they can't say whether the participants fully met the requirements of each condition, but we'll just have to take their word for it.
So after all that, we've concluded that sex has no performance-enhancing effect.
Yeah.
But it's not detrimental.
Yeah.
Exciting Ironman news now, and 2 cities have been named in the Oceania region as 2020 finalists for the World Championship 70.3.
Yeah, now I'll give you a little bit of history here, it's quite interesting. So it was actually in 2014 that Ironman started their global rotation for the Ironman 70.3 World Champs, where previously it was exclusively held in Clearwater, Florida from 2006 to 2010. And then it moved to Henderson, Nevada, and it went from there from 2011 to 2013. And then they started this global rotation, so every year moves around. So this year, we've got it in South Africa. Next year, it's going to be in Nice, France.
And the 2 finalists are Perth, Australia and Taupo, New Zealand.
It's going to be really interesting to see which one comes out.
Absolutely.
Right, next bit of news is regarding the Land's End to John O'Groats record. Now, for some of our viewers who are outside of Britain, that is cycling from one end of Britain to the other. And we've actually both done it.
Yeah, so you've done it yourself, Mark, and it took you...
I did it in 14 days. How about yourself?
I did it in 4 days.
Oh.
Which I'm very proud of. But Michael Broadwith has only gone and done it in 43 hours, 25 minutes and 13 seconds.
Yeah, unbelievable. He's almost gone 40 minutes quicker than the previous record, which was set by Gethin Butler. It's just, I mean, it's mind-boggling.
It's a distance of 841 miles at an average of 19.4 miles an hour.
It's crazy, and he did have to battle some tough conditions. So he started at Land's End, going to John O'Groats, so he has to go through Scotland towards the end, which notoriously has quite bad weather.
I know that when he reached Scotland, he was met with almighty thunderstorms and rain like you've never seen.
Yeah, and really interestingly, Gethin Butler, the previous record holder, actually came out to support him, and actually, I think, gave him a little cheer on one of the hilltop passes.
It's also reported towards the end on his time trial bike, he had to support his neck because he couldn't look up anymore.
Yeah, I think I read a couple of reports. He almost pulled out. And yeah, he just, as you say, he was sort of on his aero bars, propping his head up. It was hurting so much. So absolutely incredible effort. So well done to you, Michael. Time for Hot or Not. And we've got a fair few techie bits this week. We're going to go straight in there with a very techie one. It's the Vanmoof electric bike. Now, Vanmoof have launched a high security electric bike that claims it's impossible to ride or sell if stolen.
Now, to lock the bike, the rider just presses a button near the rear wheel or gives it a little kick and it inserts a pin through the rear hub. And then when you walk back up to your bike, Bluetooth unlocks it.
It's really clever. Now, this obviously negates the need for any sort of standard bike lock, those clumsy things you have to carry around. I think it's a really cool bit of technology. I'm going to go hot. Okay, the next one you've probably seen on social media, and it was a horse at Windsor Triathlon. Now, a horse rider found themselves on the course. They hadn't seen the signs that the race was taking part, and some cyclists were getting quite close as they came past, and then two cyclists actually went down the inside of the horse rider, spooking the horse, sending the horse crazy. Yeah, I mean, it's pretty stupid move, really.
It's quite scary footage, really. And I mean, Human Race have recently released some information, and they've just said that they're going to disqualify and ban any racers found to have been causing fear, and they're going to check the suitable signage for future events to make sure this sort of thing doesn't happen again.
Yeah, I think it's pretty obvious where we're going with this one. We're going to give it a nod. The next is 3T's custom paint jobs. Now, I feel like custom paint work on bikes has really taken off as of late. I mean, I've seen a lot of my friends with custom paint work on their bikes. So 3T have jumped on this and they've brought out their RTP versions, or their ready-to-paint versions of their Exploro and their Strada frame sets.
Yeah, now 3T can make suggestions of custom frame painters that you might like to use. And if you've got an idea for a design but need someone to execute it for you.
Awesome, yeah. And then with your designs, take some pictures and you can send it into 3T and they'll throw it on their blog, which they've got called Get Creative. So really cool.
And I think that's a hot. Most of us want running shoes that help us to run faster and for longer. Now, if you're a hardcore runner, you might want a shoe that makes it harder to put one foot in front of the other. Now, Sand Dune Park in California has been the inspiration behind a new shoe called the Grit.
Yeah, so Adidas have approached this college with a design brief, and the students have come out with some great ideas. Arwish Netawala came out with this concept of the Grit. So essentially it's replicating the idea of running on the sand, coming from Sand Dune Park. So when you run on the sand, you don't really get that rebound. It's hard work. Yeah. So what they've done is they've actually reduced the structure in the forefoot, so you're getting that feeling of struggling to push off the ground, and they've done this all through 3D printing with a lattice structure. Interesting.
Sounds clever. Now, I don't know if you've tried weighted running, Mark?
I haven't, but I'll be honest, it's just not something I'm interested in. I just feel like it would affect biomechanics, the efficiency of running and everything. What's your thoughts?
Yeah, sort of the same. And this feels similar, to be honest. The shoe concept looks very cool, but I think really...
Yeah, I mean, I love running on the beach and the sand. It's great as a sort of a variation to training, but as an everyday running shoe, I'm going to give this a nod. Okay, the next one comes from BMC, who are a partner of the channel, and they've just unveiled their latest creation, the Bmc Road Machine X. X.
Yeah, now this bike is made from aluminium, and it's described by BMC as ideal for endless adventure rides, dirt road day trips, or on the back road commutes.
Yeah, very versatile, and it even features a 1x drivetrain, disc brakes. It's got a really generous clearance for wide tyres, I think up to 34mm. Aside from the fact, it just looks flipping cool. So I'm going to give this a hot. Well, now for the race news, and the first ones this week, we've got the Ironman 70.3 European Champs in Elsinore, and this had some exciting racing because it was Adam Bowden that actually led the swim out, closely followed by Michael Rayler and Rudy von Berg. Onto the bike, Michael Rayler and Rudy von Berg managed to pull ahead of Adam Bowden, putting a little bit of time and light in between them. Coming off the bike, actually Michael Rayler pulled out, suffering from some injuries with his leg. Rudy von Berg took an early lead, and then came a big duel in.
He was quickly caught by Bowden, and Bowden took the lead, but von Berg stayed in contention, about 20 to 30 seconds behind the whole way. And then just before the finish, came past Bowden to take the win.
Whew. It was Bart Aernouts that took third, but not by much. He was only 8 seconds ahead of Rudy Wild. Well, in the women's race, it was Helle Fredriksson that took a very early lead in the swim and came out with a big gap, 2 minutes and 43 seconds. But she was hotly pursued by Melissa Hauschild, who is a 2-time 70.3 world champion.
Yeah, after a long chase, Hauschild caught Fredriksson after 80 kilometres on the bike and stormed away to run a women's best time of 1 hour 20 minutes.
Yeah, so Helle Fredriksson had to settle for second, and then in third it was Sarah Svensk. Well, in Ironman 70.3 Luxembourg, it was Manuel Kung that set the pace in the swim, but Romain Guillaume managed to hang on to his feet. And these guys are strong bikers, so it was just between the two when it got onto the bike.
Yeah, and then onto the run, they came out together, with Romain Guillaume holding a small advantage of 30 to 40 seconds for the whole way. But then with 6 kilometres to go, Manuel Kung put the hammer down and broke away to open up a bit of a lead and take the win.
Yeah, in a second, obviously it was Romain Guillaume, and then it was Colin Norris that took third. Well, in the women's race, it was a big battle, mostly between two athletes. British athlete Susie Cheetham and Austrian athlete Lisa Hutala. Now, they remained almost neck and neck throughout the bike, so it literally just came down to the run.
Yeah, on the run, Cheetham really gained some ground, only to lose out right at the end. And we must say they're two fantastic performances because they both went under the previous female course record.
Yeah, so Lisa Hutala obviously came out with the win. Susie Cheetham in second, and then in third, it was Alexandra Tondier. Okay, now for Keltman Extreme Triathlon. It might not be an event that you've necessarily heard of, but it is part of the X-Tri race series, which is the same as the Norseman. So you can expect this race to be pretty tough. So they had air temperatures of 9 to 12 degrees Celsius, and then they had water temperatures of around 11 degrees Celsius. They cover 202 kilometers on the bike with 2,000 meters of elevation, and it finishes on the run above the clouds.
Yeah, I did see some pictures of this, and it looks pretty chilly.
Yes.
Now, we've got to say congratulations to overall champion Harry Wiltshire, who broke the course record in 11 hours, 39 minutes and 48 seconds. And the female winner who came 11th overall, Mirjam Alik from Estonia, in 14 hours and 5 minutes.
Well, our next set of results come from Challenge Heilbronn, where we had a stacked field. Now, the swim was led out by Marcus Rolli, and Sebastian Kienle was around 2 minutes behind him out of the swim. But no surprises. Sebi put in the fastest bike split of the day, coming into T2 in the lead with fellow countryman Andy Buckra.
Yeah, now out on the run course, Kienle used the second fastest run time of the day in 1 hours 12 minutes to put a 59-second margin in and take the win overall. Yeah, in second it was Andreas Buckra. In third it was Sven Riedera. And then interestingly, the fastest run split of the day, although admittedly the run course was a little bit short, came from Jessie Thomas in 1 hour and 8 minutes. Now, the women's race wasn't nearly as close as the men's. Last year's winner, Daniela Samler, defended her title and had things under control most of the way. Her 2 hour, 27-minute bike split saw to that, as she took 5 minutes out of her closest pursuer, Yvonne van Vleuten.
Which is amazing, really, because most races, we see Yvonne van Vleuten putting in the fastest bike splits of the day. So to take 5 minutes out of her is incredible. Well, she continued on to the run with a fantastic run split to put more time in again, take the win overall. Yvonne van Vleuten took second, and then in third it was Gabriela Zelinka. Right, we had another exciting race at Xterra Albay in the Philippines. Now in the men's race, it was actually 3 of the big names that came out of the water together. We had Sam Osborne, Bradley Weiss and Ollie Shaw, and they actually even posted near identical bike splits to come off the bike together.
Yeah, now it all came down to the run. So Osborne posted the fastest run of the day to put more than 2 minutes into second place. Weiss. That left Sam Osborne taking the win, Bradley Weiss in second and Ollie Shaw in third.
Well, in the women's race, it was Samantha Kingsford that led from wire to wire. She posted the fastest swim, the fastest bike and second fastest run to take the win.
Yeah, so Samantha Kingsford took the win. That was Penny Slater in second and Leela Hancock's in third.
Right, now for the caption competition. And last week we had a photo of Chris Lieferman crossing the finish line with a big cutout of his own face in front of him. Captions came in. We've got one here from Stuart Hayes. Now, I'm not sure if this is the Stuart Hayes, who was a domestique for the Brownlees at the Olympics. I don't know. Quite cool there, if it is. It says, Lieferman just blew up on the run.
Not bad, not bad. We've got one from Chris Sharp that says, lesson learned, don't hold your breath on the sprint finish.
That's good, I like that. And then the winner this week came from Yakin and Packin, and they said, now I can't let myself get big-headed. Very good. Well, you are the winner of the GTN cap. Please get in touch over Facebook and we'll get this sent out to you ASAP. Now, for the caption competition this week, we have a photo of Josh Amberger after winning Ironman 70.3 Switzerland, and he's looking a little bit lonely there.
Yeah, well, I think we could say to him, you might be looking lonely there, Josh, but with that bottle of champagne, don't worry, Heather will be along soon.
I like what you've done there. Cool, well, leave your captions in the comment section below. Well, now for the Pain Cave, and to start things off this week, we've got a pretty good one. This is from Simon Pilcher. It's from inside their indoor golf simulator.
Yeah, now this looks pretty incredible. I mean, they've got Zwift on the big screen and it looks pretty realistic, like life size,
yeah.
Really.
I mean, the cyclists are literally the size of a normal cyclist. So yeah, you feel like you're in it. I don't recognise the bike brand. We've got Planet X wheels there and a Tax Neo Turbo Trainer. Really cool. Moving on, we got one from Nadal Leg. Also really cool. We've got a giant Trinity TT with a very cool paintwork set up on a Wahoo Kicker trainer there. We've also got a giant Trinity Triathlon bike set there.
And they've written in the caption, calm before the storm. So I think they've probably got quite a session brewing there.
Yeah, and a nice setup for all their kit behind. Treadmill obviously just in the foreground here. Really nice. Now, here's kind of a polar opposite from Andy Haig here. He's got his bike set up on the turbo with all his gear in quite a confined space beside his house, but it works.
Yeah.
Great.
He's got the golf clubs there propping up the screen.
Yeah, very nice. Good stuff. And then, wow. I mean, this one from Brent Wolfram is a proper pain cave, isn't it?
That is a beast.
Yeah, so we've got air hockey here. We've got, I think I can see a couple of bikes in there. We've got a race bike behind the air hockey.
Got rollers and a turbo.
Yeah, and I think this is the first swim bench we can see on the left-hand side here. Really cool. Big Ironman symbol painted on the wall. Treadmill, big Swift setup.
Yeah, all the medals. That's incredible.
Awesome. And then, we got Sam's Pain Cave.
What a spot.
Talk us through this one. It's outdoors for starters.
Yeah, well, when I had a bad elbow recently, I didn't want to go out on the roads, and so I thought with the sun shining, I'll get myself outdoors.
Cool. Very nice. And what are you riding there?
That's my Cervelo P2, so I race on that and train on it as much as I can.
Great stuff. And then we've also got your indoor setup here. So this is what you traditionally train on indoors.
A bit more usually. So this is in the bathroom, really. It does get quite warm, but it does the job.
Yeah. So again, you've got your race wheel sat there by the side, ready for to flip in for race day.
Yeah, a bit of motivation for speed.
And all your race medals there and trophies.
More motivation.
I'm glad to see GTN's on the big screen, otherwise you've been out of it. Well, do please keep sending in your pain caves over Twitter, Facebook, or use the hashtag GTN Pain Cave. Well, that's it for the show this week. Thanks ever so much for joining us again, Sam.
Thanks for having me, Mark.
Yeah, if you don't want to miss any more videos from GTN, just click on the globe and subscribe.
Yeah, and if you'd like to see a video on how to get into swimming for beginner triathletes, click down here.
And if you'd like to see our latest triathlon training explained show, just click down here.